So, but that's okay. Sorry.
Are we going to make these available to other people, like
Sure, if everyone,
friends and fans?
Oh, of course. For $49.95, we will send them a shirt of the size that they choose.
Is that free shipping?
Free shipping.
Anywhere in the world?
Anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere.
That'll work.
So
who have we got? Who have we got?
People want... So, call now. The number will appear at the bottom of your screen.
It might change and count down to 0. So it won't
call
work
now, quickly.
a second after you hit that last digit. Yeah.
Everyone, call quickly. But yes, you can order a t-shirt, and we will send it to you no matter where you are in the world. And send us your size, $49.95 US. And
We're getting into swag now? Wow.
Sure. For $49.95, definitely.
Phil, we know you'll wear one. Thank you. Anyone else? Pingity ping ping. You're getting Teams pings
I know,
already.
I gotta turn this.
Sheesh.
Quit pinging me.
Jamie, hey, how's it going?
It's in the meeting.
Heidi. Look, they do say, and I don't take this wrong, Daniel, but apparently if you're a band member of a rock band or whatever,
yeah.
If you're wearing your own swag, it's kind of like, eh.
No, I agree. Yeah. Definitely. If you're, we should not wear our own swag all the time. This is just our announcing, if you're in a band, you definitely, you got to wear the cool, like, nice shirt and nice jeans or black pants or something.
We've got a pricing war here. So Heidi, drop the price into the chat that you think we should charge for this.
Now, how about this? How about if you're going to be at a conference that I'm going to be at or that Daryl's going to be at, then we will reduce the price $5. So to only $44 because we won't have to ship it. We'll hand deliver it to you and even sign it.
Yeah, although I don't know if we get it to you by Christmas, Jamie, because it's this thing called.
I've got 2 in-person conferences before Christmas.
True.
It totally should be.
Whoa, that's
365.
That's pretty specific. 365.
What?
It was a sticker mule deal, okay? I think I paid. What did I pay? I think it was like $10 US. Something like that.
Whoa.
Are we trying to make profit on this? We shouldn't be.
Whoa.
This is just supporting
you can't
gear.
pay that now. It was a deal. It was a one-time deal that we can't replicate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the cost now is $49 US.
How did you come up with that number?
I just reduced it by 95 cents.
Is it going to $29, $28, $27, $26? If you're really smart people, you'll say, I want to buy this when it hits 0.
I feel like if they're true fans, $49 is not very much to show how big of a fan they are.
Don't sound too serious as you say that, Daniel, because sometimes...
For $205...
That's better, that's a bit more.
Yeah. This one.
That one.
I'll sign it.
Oh my goodness. Well, look, let's just get on with the show, because this is just a bit silly. Let's roll the intro. Where's the intro? Come on now. Here we go. There we go.
Indeed, there we go.
T-shirts, announcements, stuff.
This is what we do.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, everyone. It is good to be with you as we work our way through the typical... what is it, Daniel? Like the aftershocks of Microsoft Ignite and what has landed in the Message Center. Yeah.
Wow, aftershocks is like an earthquake.
Well, we wanted to remain true to the nature of our show because on some great occasions where we managed to do this in person at Ignite, we'd always cover the messages and then we'd talk about stuff at Ignite. So we are going to talk about the messages because some of it has actually been talked about at Ignite, and now it's sort of arriving already.
Yes, I think. Well, and some of the things that were talked about at Ignite have already been in play. So in one form or another. And so, it'll be good to discuss those as well as we move forward. It'll be good.
Yeah.
So, our first one.
Yes.
This is actually a really snazzy one I'm excited about with bringing new features, which is something that I'm hopeful for and cross my fingers for Stream. This new feature and functionality is giving me some hope.
Definitely. It's actually something that we find useful when we go back over videos and video creation. So it's good to see something like this coming into our organization. Stream on SharePoint viewership retention, MC296612. So it's good to see the first time we've seen a message where it's calling out stream on SharePoint, making it really clear. Yes, people, we are shifting into that space. What is viewership retention? Well, it's about looking at how people are viewing your video and how long they are remaining engaged. As in, are they still watching or have they left? That's really the big measurements there. So it's easier to just look down here at the charts to begin with. We have one typical video where this is retention in terms of you've published the video and how many viewers have you got over certain days. So that's nice. It means that we can see, okay, on the 28th of October that we got, 10, 11 video viewers, right? So this is a demo environment. But what's really useful here is viewer retention during the video. And this is magical. This is when you're watching and someone sort of drops off, or the interesting things here about peaks where, hang on, how can it peak there? Did someone join partway through the video and viewership drop off? And so that sort of thing happens when you might have put a bookmark. Hey?
It's when I watch, because that's how I watch videos. I generally don't start at the beginning. When it loads, I will click in the middle to see if it's a value, if there's talking and not showing or whatever, and then I'll go back to the beginning. Yeah, that's actually how I watch it.
Raises a good question, doesn't it? That as you open that video up, is it measuring you there as you're a viewer and you're remaining engaged? And if you're jumping through to the video, is that why it dips and comes back? It would be good to hear what that means. But for someone who is presenting, maybe it's a webinar internally or a recording of something you've done externally as well, but you've got the recording in SharePoint, then you could probably go through and look at those particular times and say, what were we covering during that video? How can we improve? And so that's the main measurement there. The good thing about this is this message comes with a really good support article. So let's just have a quick look at that. Viewership retention chart, how to use it, how viewership is measured, how do we access the viewership retention chart. What else we've got there? Hover your name. Okay, so file permissions, and I think you can see viewership details in there too. So yeah, a lot of good information here around the viewership retention. But yeah, that's good stuff. Exactly. Just going back to our other view of this, it's going to be coming out shortly, beginning to roll out late November. Expect to roll out complete mid-December. Enjoy.
Indeed.
Let's move to Teams, Daniel.
Let's do it. So this is our Teams announcement section. First up, chat with users with Teams personal accounts. MC296208. And just as the title says, this is talking about chatting with personal accounts. And do we not get the Teams bar up there, Daryl?
Huh?
Sorry to interrupt everybody, but
You want the Teams
know,
bar?
the Teams, announcement. These are the Teams announcements.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. Those graphics. Here we go.
Yeah. All right.
Do you want the little like sprinkles with the stars and stuff?
I don't like sprinkles. I like it straight up.
Okay.
So this is chat with users with Teams personal accounts, MC296208. And like the title says, this is talking about chatting with those that are using Teams, but with personal accounts. If you'll remember, you can use Teams and use personal accounts, Microsoft personal accounts, to log in. And this is going to allow you to chat with those that are using it. Now, this is rolling out early December. And expected to be done by mid-December, so quickly in that time frame, and that's for everybody. And you are able to control this, so don't freak out if for some reason you start thinking, whoa, personal and business, they shouldn't mix. You are able to turn this off in the, there's going to be in the admin portal, the Teams admin portal, be able to change it. You could also use PowerShell to do this. The kicker, and this should feel familiar to those that use Skype. We could do this in Skype before. So it's not unprecedented for this to happen. I don't want you to, personally, I don't feel like this is as big a deal as some people have made it out to be. It's just another thing you have to make a decision on. Are you going to allow your users to do this? If so, who? Which users? Yeah. All users, a subset of users that you're going to allow. And if you're going to allow, make sure that you're governing Teams appropriately, right? That you're using your labels for data, that you're doing, what you're supposed to do anyway with securing your content. And you have your policy set. So if you don't allow it, fine. But if you do, then, yes, you have to think about, am I doing this the right way? I would suggest leaving it on, but again, securing your data and your content the right way. So that's it, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think, Daryl? Are we ending the world here because we're allowing personal chat?
Sadly, I'll tell you why. There's not too many people that are using Teams Personal today. It's not like when we brought Skype for Business in and there were millions of Skype users. Yeah. And the benefit there was, if you wanted to bring in a customer and have a conversation, then you could do that from your business environment and be able to engage in sort of customer support like that. Today, there aren't too many personal users of Teams. So that's the first thing you don't have to worry about. I think also, it's just going to be another way to engage with customers if they use that as a product. To be honest, at this stage, it feels more like it's going to be more beneficial to the Teams personal adoption rate. So let's move on to our next message, which is still in Teams, still in our section there on Teams. So sorry about that, Daniel. I forgot the headers. I missed my stream moment.
You're doing great.
Multi-language Teams meeting invite control, MC296205. Interesting one, this one. I want to start by just taking a look at the invite. So let's do that because it's easier to see it as a picture to begin with. Telling the story. Here we go. So we have a typical meeting invite to a Teams meeting. We can see the meeting invite in English if that is the chosen language that you use Office in. And that's what Teams does, is it knows your language, and when you create your invite, it's going to send it out with that language. But this update is going to allow administrators to configure a second language. So you can have your primary language and a secondary language. They can configure it at the user level, at a group level, at the organizational level. So again, it'll be using policies. I think it's good in the sense that if you do have a need to address like a second national language where there is that aim that the government have to try and honour that, then that's great too. But I think what it's missing here, Daniel, is the audience might change. So if I am French, for example, and I'm sending something off to, I know my audience is going to be German, then I don't get to choose the language at that level. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's not targeted, right? It's not you're not able to say if the person's default language is this, do this, or say, like you said, I'm sending this to a German audience or a German-speaking audience. I want this all in German. You're right. I think this is, defaults for what you were just saying. What are the requirements for your organization? Canada comes to mind straight away, being English and French, that both of those needed. So I would think every Canadian organization is going to enable this for those two languages at least, right?
The other user impact to this?
What's that?
The invites are going to get a whole lot longer.
A whole lot longer. Scroll down. Keep scrolling. You will find your language eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I know that we're solutionizing here, but perhaps another better way to do this is drive it from the Outlook point of view. That when someone receives a message, that it either gives you a little button to say, translate this to your language, or I know the language you've chosen on your machine, so I'm going to change it. I think Hilda's keen and seeing it in Belgian. I'm sorry, I didn't get that organized for the demo, but maybe that'll be one of the languages. I expect it will. Is Belgian a language? Or do they speak French? Where
I don't know.
Maybe you can answer that question, Hilda. I just painted myself into a corner there.
That's terrible.
Next message. So
for such an international audience, we totally should know that. We're terribly sorry. But moving right along, we're to the next team's message is expanded reactions in Microsoft Teams MC 296204. And this is rolling out standard release mid-January. So we're going to be waiting a little while and expected late January. And then actually coming to government. We could see the schedule there starting in mid-January for GCC and ending with DoD by late March. And it is what it is, what it said, which is expanding those reactions that we'll be able to react on chat messages. And it's going to be promising over 800 Teams emojis to express yourselves. And this will be available on Teams desktop apps, the Teams mobile, and Teams web. So you can see a little bit of that on the screenshot there.
Well, yes, screenshots. Yes. So here's, I think those are the Windows 11 ones, right? That come in through Teams as well.
I'm not entirely sure you're
Well, let's have a look at today's ones.
Because I don't know.
Let's have a look at these ones. So those are going to change.
Indeed.
Yeah. So that means I could respond with a I'm emo about this.
That is definitely an emo. There's other ones you could respond with as well that maybe people like Daryl would think about responding to messages. Don't do it, Daryl.
No, I won't. But I do want to show this full screen because it does actually raise a point about the plethora of messages and reactions. Check that out.
Yeah, and will they expand it? Because it is with so many reactions that are going to be available. Will they expand it? Now, Teams is not the first application to have to deal with this whole emoji deal. So let's not kid ourselves. This is not unique to the platform. So that's not it. It's just that we are kind of used to in Teams only having a few and then plus whatever afterwards. So anyway, it'll be interesting. Let's express ourselves, people. Communication is key.
Yes.
Sometimes an emoji is what is needed.
It takes me back to hieroglyphic days when I used to draw on walls and write great psalms and stories and songs on walls with pictures. Now I'm doing it with emoji. What?
Yeah. Let's move on to the next team's announcement, which is, I think, your last comment brings up a lot of questions. And this feature will help with
Very
it.
nice. Okay. Yes, questions and answers. Maybe we could have a more structured conversation about this. Q&A in Teams, now in public preview, MC296194. This is something that we have been used to seeing in live events up until this point, where you do want to have a structured conversation. You are running a webinar, you're presenting something, and you're inviting questions, but you have control over this as a producer or presenter, where you can see the questions that have been submitted, work your way through them and say, yep, I like that one. I'm going to publish that so that everyone can see it, and then I might answer it on camera. Or you can answer it privately. And lastly, you can dismiss those inappropriate questions. Well, this great feature is coming to Teams meetings, which are becoming more and more like live events and becoming fuller featured. So I like to see this coming. It is actually... No, there's no screenshots. I was going to try and jump into the Teams preview environment to show you what that looks like. So maybe in the next show we'll show you that. But it is going to be super useful. And I think, Daniel, let's say that you and I were running a panel discussion, Q&A. We'd be best to try and share that role, right, as we tag around and manage those questions.
First of all, I want to say if we were running a session, it would be awesome and would rock. But yes, I think you want to tag team with that role.
Because and I experienced this recently, where you have screeds and screeds of questions that have been dropped in chat, and it just keeps bubbling up. And we've had to put up with that for ages, as people put in questions, and we're all trying to respond, and people are actually on camera trying to talk to those questions. And sometimes with an IT audience, those questions have 3 parts. We know the story. It becomes difficult to just read it and go, just give me 5 minutes while I digest that question. Yeah. Whereas if you've got that structured Q&A, you can have someone help you out, filtering that, pulling over questions that are going to be good ones to answer. And the person who's presenting can focus more on the content and offering a quality presentation, engaging presentation. So this is going to be available public preview, which is now, really. That's kind of what I wanted to say. I wanted to show it to you in Teams public preview, but I don't think I've been able to click over and do that.
Don't get in trouble.
Ooh, it's there, but look, I'm not going to make you wait. Maybe, hey, do you want to do just a callback, the fastest callback we've ever done? We'll do that at the end of the show. Let's get on to the next message.
About time.
We'll come back to this later. Okay.
About time. And so this one is all about Office, so it's not about Teams. So we're moving right along. This is Office.com updates MC295863, and I'm going to pause here so that everyone can go down and in YouTube, you can click the thumbs up button. Go ahead and do that right now. Okay, great. And then make sure you're subscribed.
You're watching, right, Daniel?
Yes, I'm watching every one of you. Do it right now. And then I want you to do your best headbanger move, just headbang to hit the bell so that you're reminded when we go live.
Yeah,
all right,
that helps.
So on to the message. This is Office.com being updated, rolling out the targeted release in November. So nowish, maybe, I don't know, and expect to complete by mid-December. And then standard customers beginning in January. This is a revamp of the homepage of Office.com. Right now, when you go to Office.com, you see recommended section at the top. You can, that wonderful install button for install Office. And then you see your content below. You can filter the content by searching. But, there's really not a whole lot of options when you do a filter. You can do by my recent, shared, or favorites. But that's what it is right now. But in the future, what's going to happen is you're going to have those recommended actions at the top. is going to involve things like meeting notices for the meeting that's happening right now, for the content where you're mentioned, so you can reply right there. Tasks that you may have missed, so being able to add a to-do right all there in those, but it's recommended actions. And then another improvement that we're going to have is the filtering. So being able to filter that content in a way that is more, that's not just those labels that we have there. We're going to be able to do a better filtering job to narrow down the content. This is really all about helping you to get work done, ease of use, find your content easier within office.com. So this is, I think this is a good improvement. I'm hopeful that, they'll continue to improve, but I think this is a good improvement. And then the last thing I want to kind of call out for this message is it's really weird that at the bottom there's a link TBD for the support article. It's not even in the message. Just like, hey, we're gonna throw that in there at some point. So that's
right.
That's yeah.
The one I would like to have seen the other screenshot of the My Content view. I did have a shot of it from somewhere at Ignite, but that's gorgeous. So we're constantly thinking about what was the conversation I had with someone, where was I working on it, which platform. I think office.com is now going to become more like that, more fully functioning search page of where to find that stuff. And
indeed,
look, I find search in Teams pretty difficult for finding that file, that conversation, that whatever. So I think office.com might do a better job for that sort of thing with content.
Indeed, I agree with you that, like I said, those filters are going to be that powerful force for you to find that content, because frankly, our content's everywhere. So finding that, where did I talk to them? Was it in Teams? Was it in email? Where is that information? It's coming to us easier. And then the next message, sir, is all about insights as well, but in a different product.
Yeah. And this is certainly one that the community wanted to know about, because it is super confusing when you read it. Viva Insights, Manager Insights. What? Okay. MC296601. Now, we are the Message Center show, so we do make a comment occasionally about messages and quality of message, and this one doesn't leave us with a lot of confidence about the message. Grammatical issues, all sorts of places, teams, little t, big T. What are we talking about? The team or the big team? Let's get on with it and try and decipher what it is. So Daniel and I actually spent a good amount of time yesterday on our planning call trying to boil this down to a simple way to explain it. So I'm not necessarily going to read through the message, but I'll call out some highlights about what it's trying to get across. We are shifting to Viva Insights. Now, Microsoft Viva was announced as GA at Ignite. They have a new plan which bundles everything together for $9 per user per month. What the concern here is that the community has is, look, if we've been enjoying using My Analytics and Personal Insights, what does that mean for shifting to Viva Insights? And that's not what this message is about. This is calling out more specifically what paid users are getting out of Workplace Analytics and what they'll be shifting to with Viva Insights. So this is about completing that shift, getting away from My Analytics. You are still going to have access to those personal insights for free. You'll be able to go into Teams, you'll see those insights. You can even click a button and go off to a separate site and see your personal insights. That's not going to disappear. For those organizations that have been paying a license for Workplace Analytics, they would have seen, or managers would have seen, a leadership tab in the Teams app. And that meant that they could see any of their direct reports, rolled up kind of statistics around how people are engaging with meetings and whether they're working too long, and those sorts of insights that help you to manage a team more effectively and keep things focused. So that is what is going to be shifting. And really the question here is that as we move to using Viva Insights, this new license, if you've been using Workplace Analytics in the past, what we're not sure of in terms of this message is that switch going to happen automatically? Or do you have to deprovision your license for Workplace Analytics and now buy the new Viva Insights license that gives you management type functionality? Daniel, what are your thoughts on this?
I think you're right. From when we talked about this yesterday, it was what is going on with this, and there was some illusions of this saying something it didn't, but it also isn't very clear on things where we're talking about licensing and what's required and what's involved. I think we have to pay attention to what Microsoft has announced will be included with the Microsoft Viva licensing versus what is included in the Microsoft 365 licensing. And I think rather than taking what is said here as the absolute, it's truth, but make sure you just follow that licensing table and say, this is what is included, and the making sure that you understand how that plays into it. We're not losing functionality, it appears. Okay, we're staying with, if you're using those free analytics, you're still getting those insights. You're still getting those insights. They're not being removed, and but the manager insights is where is what this is talking about. And we're still kind of unclear on if the license will automatically switch or if you're going to have to manually switch it to Viva from what you've had before. But this My Analytics, that content is still going to be there. The free content that you keep getting, that the daily briefing email, those Viva, the monthly digest email, all of that you're still going to get.
Yep. So let's see how that boils out. I think, personally, I think that the licensing switch is going to be a manual job. That's what I think.
Unfortunately.
Yep. Look, while we are here, let's try and do the fastest callback we've ever done on the show.
Oh,
Do you like risk, Daniel?
Oh, wow, this is risky.
It is risky, partly because I wonder... Okay, so what we're going to show here is maybe what Q&A looks like. I'm going to try and just get a quick meeting going with myself, because that happens a lot. I meet with myself. I just want to make sure that I've chosen the right devices here for cameras. Oh yeah, I've turned myself grey, so there we go. That's all right. We'll just turn that one over there. So now I'll get it to use my internal camera.
I think you're going to lose the award for the fastest callback ever.
Oh really? Oh really? Let's see. Let's start up a meeting. We'll invite a couple of people to it. Oops. LOR. MET. Make this real quick. And most of these things, when we're scheduling meetings, we have to schedule the meeting and send it, and then add the details, or then add the app. Have you ever noticed that, Daniel?
I have, yes.
Yeah. So now we have to go back in and go, okay, I intend to add Q&A to my meeting. So this is an app that we add to our tab. We go Q. Come on, give me the list. There we go. Oh, there it is at the top. Q&A. Hey, hop. All right, add that. Supported languages. Not bad. Quite a good list. This Q&A experience is powered by Microsoft Yammer and customized for Teams. So I think I saw that in the chat from some people. Yep, that's true. So we've got a couple of things we can configure here. Let's say we wanted to, at least allow people to ask questions. That's the minimum. Yeah, of course. Do we want them to be able to respond to those conversations? So they can respond to that question, and it's in a thread, so that's pretty cool. But this last option here, do we want to moderate that? Means that we get that ability to see them previewed, published, and then dismissed. Whereas if we leave that unticked, questions are going to go straight through and then it's over to us to answer them. I think this third option here is really good if you expect to have a whole lot of questions and you want to have some management over that capability so it's easier for the presenter. So let's save that option. Let's see what we can do here. I don't think I'll have time to get Matt or Laura into this meeting, but let's see if we can run this without people actually joining. Interesting here, right? It's right here in the chat. And I think we still will have chat, but rather it's right here in the meeting beforehand. Joining. I think I saw a request for Viva Las Vegas because they miss that whenever you sing that, Daniel.
I'm not entirely sure our audience misses that when I don't sing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's the Q&A tab. So you will still have chat. And I think that's part of the confusion. Okay, if you're going to run Q&A, you will need to tell your audience, please use the Q&A tab. It's open here. And you can ask your question. Can I do this? Can I? Can I really? Oh, I've got like rich text formatting. It is defaulting to a question type. So this is Yammer in the background, remember, and you can set it up to be just a post or a question. Let's just post that. Can we do anything else in here? Add a link, unordered list. Right, so for those of you who like to ask your three-part questions,
Just don't do it.
No, second question. Honestly, like if you've been on the receiving end of that, that's hogging the mic and it's difficult to answer. Anyway, we'll post that. But boom. So people can like it. They can respond to it. So that means it's going to be a threaded convo, which is pretty cool. Nice. Oh, and then there's a marker's best answer. So this is super powerful, isn't it? What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, it's totally powerful. I mean, this is good stuff in your straight meeting. That you're going to be able to manage Q&A, like you could do with that live event, but in a chat, so that, or in a meeting, so in a method that gets that information out to your users. But there's also chat. They're able to engage. This is a great way to have that functionality in a meeting.
So do I win the award for the fastest callback?
Highly unlikely because it took 5 minutes, but but I love your green Halloween leftover video that you have going there.
You know how that happens when I've got the camera in use and Teams wants to use it as well. So it's just a greedy thing. I've turned green with greed.
So everyone, right now, share this video right now. I want to see it on Twitter. Please put a hashtag 365MCS so I'll see it and I will like it and I will love it. Go ahead and share it right now on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. Go ahead, hit the share button. It's easy. Just hit the share button. It's right there. Go ahead and do that. We'd love to have you follow us on social as 365MCS on all the socials, not TikTok, but all the other ones. And we'd love to hear your comments and thoughts. So feel free to leave your comments in YouTube or in your favorite app that you're listening to the audio podcast on. Thank you, everyone, for watching today. We hope you come back next time.
Bye for now.